YouTubers, to a TLC review with us, a very Christmas-themed British fist.
Ka-ching!
I'm Mr. Parkin with my Christmas hat on, and this guy's sitting next to me, standing next to me, I should say, but I'm so used to saying that, guys. And maybe it's just the eggnog talking. Don't know what the fuck he's wearing. That's no other than NJ, people.
What's up?
Subscribe down below, like this video, and comment any thoughts you have on the show down below.
And make sure you contact us in the link in the description box below.
What the fuck? How come you get a bobble and I don't? This is ridiculous. I hate the budget cuts.
It is pretty bad.
First we have to get rid of canned heat, and now we have to get rid of this bobble on my damn Santa hat. And I don't even get a Santa outfit. What's going on? How come you get all the tinsel? Why do you have to stand out with all the tinsel? It's not fair.
I'm like a Christmas tree here.
I guess I do have a purple shirt with some green design on it. Anyway, let's get into this TLC review. Firstly, we just want to mention about they tolled the bell for the 26 children that died in that school shooting, and we want to send our respects out to all the families involved, because it was a pretty terrible piece of news that we heard here in Britain.
It is a terrible thing that the gun law in the US is still somehow making this still possible to happen, and for it to happen before Christmas is another terrible thing. So from the British Fist, we send out our feelings and emotions to what happened.
And the families involved as well. But we want to switch to a positive thing here right now. The crowd tonight in Brooklyn, New York, one of the best crowds we've had at a pay-per-view this year. They really made that show feel very good, didn't they?
Boy, pay-per-view that we did have high hopes for, the fact the crowd were with the important matches throughout the night and really made this pay-per-view feel special. I just clap my hands because it really makes this pay-per-view come alive.
Indeed, we opened up the show with Ray and Sin Cara versus the Team Rose Scholars in a number one contendership tables match. A pretty solid way to open up the show. Cody's mustache is way over than pretty much 95% of the stuff on the roster, isn't it?
It does seem that way over the Twitter and the YWC, but the thing about this match, they do their promo, which was good, hyping up their win, which obviously you don't really picture Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara on the mic. So this was a nice warm-up for the match. I did like how Team Rose Scholars introduced their match.
Daniel's mustache. Nah, it's never going to get over, is it? I thought the finish was pretty good, though, as you have Cody Rhodes pushing Sin Cara off the top rope as he is about to do a top rope move through the table. Not a great opener, but definitely a solid opener. The crowd were really into it, and I think it was more to do with how excited the crowd were than the match quality, personally.
I felt this, the way they did it, they took up Ray because they didn't really want Ray to lose this particular match. Sin Cara, yes, you do expect him to be the one to fail stuff in the way, as you hear in past pay-per-views. So for him to be the one to go through the table, and for Team Rose Scholars to get the win, which I'm very happy for, because I did feel that they were the ones who are going to grow and go towards the championship by the end of this year, and here we go.
Like I said in the predictions video, I didn't mind who won this match. Either way, I think it would provide a compelling tag team feud, so there we go. The Team Rose Scholars pick up the victory, and my boy gets a win at a pay-per-view, yeah! Antonio Cesaro versus R-Truth for the US Championship. It's amazing how much better a match can feel when the crowd is good. The amount of Antonio Cesaro matches we've had where the crowd have been silent and they've been boring. This kind of seemed like a similar match, but because the crowd were really into it, it felt a much, much better than the usual US Championship filler pay-per-view feud.
Even though this is a replay match, roughly went down the way it has done over the last matches they went against each other. Cesaro picking up the win was the obvious way, even though I would have minded R-Truth winning, but it didn't happen. Instead, he got injured instead. But I just thought that this match was pretty typical for the match they've had against each other before. It
was just the crowd really that lifted it up for me. The first match that Antonio Cesaro has been in where the crowd have been into it throughout pretty much, and the first time that's happened, the finish kind of came out of nowhere in my opinion. It was a solid match, but but without a good crowd, it would have been another typical Cesaro match. So it's thanks to the crowd really that it actually felt a lot better than it really should have been. Then you have the post-match segment with Antonio Cesaro saying, "By booing me, the US champion, the best US champion in history, you're booing your own country." And by golly, he has a point.
And with this promo, I really expected the return of Christian or a ex-US champion to come down to be his next challenger, because Cesaro really needs a better feud instead of these quick matches that are not really building him up in a way that I could ever get behind him.
Christian needs to return and feud with Cesaro, that's all I'll say. We had a Miz TV segment on pay-per-view with none other than 3MB. And we get the news that 3MB are going to be performing live on Raw tomorrow. What a great time we chose to boycott Raw and watch highlights of it the next day. What a great reason for us to not watch Raw live, especially with it being the Slammies. By the way, little announcement. On Tuesday, we will be doing our own version of the Slammies called the YWC Slammies. Hopefully, some of you YouTubers out there will get some awards from us, just like we did last year.
So after you suffer through a 3MB kind of style rocky thing where they do mention that they're going to be performing live and outdoing other bands like the Rolling Stones, we are going to be giving Slammies to lift your mood up, give you entertainment, and give other YouTubers the shout-outs they deserve.
Just like we did last year, if you remember. I think the thing that stood out most for me about this segment was, are they trying to turn Del Rio face? You know, it was. I'm sitting there thinking, why? I understand that the rumors are that WWE want a top Hispanic babyface, as Sin Cara really wasn't working. He's not drawing that much reaction. But Alberto Del Rio as a babyface, if it wasn't for Ricardo, this guy would never be able to get over as a babyface. He needs Ricardo to be able to get himself over as a babyface. I personally don't think it will work, but I'll wait and see what happens. It kind of just came out of nowhere. The crowd didn't really know how to react.
A few things about this is, as 3MB went to the Spanish announce table, Miz stood there and did nothing. But I'm really glad the commentary didn't get involved and set up a stupid commentary kind of style tag match against 3MB. But Del Rio coming out, he weren't really working as a heel main eventer. Nothing was being booked, nothing was going right for him. Even the more aggressive Del Rio didn't work. Sort of face turn, just like the Miz. Maybe it'll work, maybe it'll fail.
Two heels turn face. But this did set up a six-man tag later in the night. More on that later. Wade Barrett versus Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental Championship. The first thing that struck me here is the crowd were clearly on Wade Barrett's side. It seemed like they were really favouring the heels at this pay-per-view, didn't it?
Well, after Barrett's promo he did backstage, mention this match and how he's going to become the IC champion, how he deserves this. The crowd, I do like the fact they were behind Barrett, because Barrett's still at his time in his career where he needs people behind him to believe in him, for him to go somewhere. And for him to be in this match, I don't agree with it, but the crowd, again, helped this match to be a likeable match.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it was a pretty decent match, and I'm actually glad Wade Barrett lost here, to be honest, because him winning the IC Championship, in my opinion, would just have not really done that much for him, and I think that an IC win, even though Kofi's been in the same position for about 5 years, can do a lot more for Kofi, in my opinion. I just think Wade Barrett has way more potential to be above this kind of stuff. So I'm actually glad he lost here, so they can probably move him on to something else.
Even though it's a shame that Kofi Kingston, a mid-card, a tag team wrestler, beat Wade Barrett when he's possibly going to be going against main eventers sometime in his career, it was a bit of a shame, but this has left the door open for Barrett now to win the Rumble without having the IC title around his waist.
I don't think he'll be winning the Royal Rumble, NJ. We had a status report on CM Punk's knee, and we got this pretty cool CM Punk promo where we saw his t-shirt has faces to asses on it. That'd be pretty good. And I still think that WWE at some point on the road to the Rumble, they're going to set up a Punk Ryback match. You know, they usually have the New Year's show. They're probably going to have a Punk Ryback match on the 20th anniversary of Raw or something. It seemed like they're kind of teasing something like that.
I still think this is going to be a rematch. I don't really care, because we're getting the big match that all waiting for, which is going to be Punk and The Rock. And we did get Rock video packages hyped up the Rumble, which I thought was the right thing to do to hype up the next big pay-per-view. And Punk is promo with Heyman, comedy, directional, and it was good to see Punk actually tuning in to watch this match.
Indeed, because he watched a pretty damn good match, didn't he? This next match was, I think, the highlight of the night for many reasons. Team Hell No and Ryback versus The Shield in a TLC match. I thought this was the main event, but it seems that it wasn't. And one question I do have is, why does The Shield have music when they're supposed to be like an imposter group?
I guess now they're actually professional wrestlers as well as this, dominant group as you see in this match. I guess giving them music, especially if they're going to have future matches following this pay-per-view, like they should, give them music, gives them direction and more of a wrestling-styled purpose.
Oh, at least they came out of the crowd. You have the Goldberg chants start again. I'm tired of these Goldberg chants. Get over it. We know he's a bit like Goldberg, but he was 15 years ago. Get the fuck over it, crowd. Come on. And it's amazing how much Daniel Bryan is over. If you'd have said to me in 2012 that Daniel Bryan would be this over in 2011, that Daniel Bryan would be that over in 2012, I would have not believed you one bit. He was incredibly over in this match.
Well, he's over, but what the bad thing we could say is that 1 minute he's the World Heavyweight Champion, now he's the Tag Team Champion.
And featured in a pretty damn big match on the pay-per-view. I think my highlight of this match is the fact that for once, WWE made a new faction look very good. During this match, which was very good, by the way, I was really enjoying this match throughout. I don't know whether it was the fact that we got new guys in there, whether it was to the pack booking, where you had, the Shield consistently doing group-style beatdowns and stuff like that. But this was a really good match. You know, the Shield looked very good. I think this really made people sit up and take notice about the Shield, especially Dean Ambrose, who looks like a real standout of that group.
The thing that made me enjoy this match so much is, in my personal opinion, the Shield are the best booked heels at the minute. You could say CM Punk, but he's had to have the Shield help him retain his championship.
Aces and eights.
Forget them.
Yeah, I know.
You could say that, again, I don't think Punk's had the best booking. That's why we've made a video of his title run and how it's came out. But the Shield, especially in this match, proved that the Shield do have direction. They do have a personal liking from the WWE at the moment. So, again, I'm saying good luck to the Shield from this.
I hope Rollins, your favourite, I hope Rollins' head is okay. He took a nasty bump off that big spot, so props to him for taking that table spot and being able to walk away from it.
But the thing I like about this match is that Ryback, yes, he got the whole typical WWE base book, which was really strong during the match, even after his table drop. He did come back going strong, but his crawling as the Shield pick up the win, I just thought that was really good. They gave Shield the win. And now I look forward to seeing what they do next.
You have one company that books their top faction to lose at pay-per-views, then you have another company that books their faction to win at pay-per-views. Guess which one's which, because you wouldn't really know. The WWE allowed the Shield to get a pin on Daniel Bryan. Notice how Ryback didn't take the pin. I think the Shield did need a win here to try and set them out there so people will know a little bit more about them and stand up and take notice. And I think that match definitely accomplished this.
And talk about video packages, the thing that's going to get them more noticed is that they possibly teased two of them possibly going for the tag team titles or going that direction as they cut a promo or video on Ryback and Team Hell No. So I look forward to seeing if they go down that direction or if they continue to just attack people for the sake of it.
Eve Torres versus Naomi for the Divas Championship. Naomi won the pre-match Battle Royal. As much as I don't really like Naomi in there, at least it was something a little bit different. Trouble is, this match only went about 3 minutes. The crowd tried, but the match was nothing. It was a filler match. It wasn't really even needed on this card, really.
Seeing Naomi go off, yes, it's a different diva doing something different than just dancing for Brodus Clay. I did think that maybe Caitlyn should have got the win and actually beat Eve, but it was like Eve's retaining for some reason, but overall I just didn't care for this match.
As we're typical with many Divas matches. Big Show versus Sheamus next in a chairs match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's very fair to say the crowd were kind of bored in the first sort of 5 minutes of this match. They started an Ole Ole chant for El Generico, shades of final battle that happened earlier today. But this match only got about 14 minutes, which I felt was quite short, but at the same time it was a chairs match. And this match did pick up, and it started off quite slow and boring, but then it picked up as it went on, as a good match should, in my opinion.
It weren't as good as the last two,
No.
especially the first match, which I was expecting. But think of the chairs matches, I don't expect anything great. I don't really agree with TLC pay-per-view for the purpose of a chairs match as being one of them. But the highlight of this match was the fact that one, Big Show retained, but before that, he's had a big ladder. He's used the announce table in the past, but this time he bought himself a massive steel chair.
And he manages to beat Sheamus with one shot of that massive chair. It was a nice creative way of finishing it, actually. It really did go along with Big Show, the fact that he's big and he's using his big chair to beat Sheamus. Sheamus? That's Sheamus. Sheamus, yes, that's like in Del Rio style. Then.
And the thing about this is that I never expected, especially when Big Show retained, that Ziggler was going to cash in, because I can't really picture Ziggler actually beating Big Show, but the main event showed me it could have happened.
Yeah, I mean, not as good as a Hell in a Cell match, but a pretty decent match, I thought. I've been hearing reports that apparently WWE are not very happy with Sheamus' progress as a babyface, and I can kind of see why. He's not getting great reactions, he's being booked way too strong, which is WWE's own fault, which is probably why Big Show retained here, is they're probably going to try and do something a bit different with the Sheamus character.
And also for the last few months, Sheamus has been doing an angry style play, showing frustration, so maybe that's going to help him become a heel again.
I hope they don't make him heel. They've just made him babyface, so... Miz, Del Rio, and Ricardo... No, Miz, Del Rio, Brooklyn Brawler was the special versus Team 3MB. Nothing more to say here apart from the Brooklyn Brawler gets a pay-per-view win. The biggest jobber in the world gets a pay-per-view win for the fucking win.
That was a shame that the jobber actually got a highlight and a win, but I've got one question. Would you rather have seen Brooklyn Brawler
Oh yeah.
or
Zack Ryder.
Zack Ryder or Del Rio and
Ricardo.
Rodriguez? Ricardo. Those three. Who would you rather see?
Ricardo or Brooklyn Brawler? I didn't really want to see Zack Ryder. The crowd wanted to see Zack Ryder.
Ricardo!
Brooklyn Brawler was kind of cool in my opinion, as it was in Brooklyn, New York. Ricardo would have been pretty good though, but he played his part in the match. Del Rio's face turn though, I'm not really convinced by this face turn. I'm not sure if they are turning him face, but it seemed like they were trying. I
would have seen him as a top heel mid-carder, but a base turn, I'm not sure if they're going to keep him in the main event or put him in the mid-cards as a base. Either way, maybe it's W's way of thinking, we need to do something with Del Rio.
They need to do something different with him, because quite clearly what they're doing right now really wasn't working for him as a heel. Then the main event, John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match for the Money in the Bank contract. Now, I guess going into this, the bottom line for me was the fact that Cena never really earned his shot, and while people may say, oh, Cena's in another main event, well, look who he brought with him. Dolph Ziggler in a main event of a pay-per-view, and he even got a win here.
I really did predict this match, even though people were saying Ryback, blah, blah, blah. I did see this being the main event until it was confirmed that it weren't going to be. Because with Cena, you don't expect him to be in the main event, and in this match, the fact that it was his time to put over Ziggler, it was rightful as the main event. It's just that so many things happen in this match that is worth mentioning.
Yeah, indeed. Firstly, I just want to mention the backstage interview with Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion, was very good and did a very good job of setting up this match. One thing WWE did semi-decently, not as good as TNA in my opinion, but they used backstage interviews quite well throughout the night to set up some matches, which I felt was a good part of this show. The match itself, pretty decent. I mean, it went 23 minutes. I guess my one thing here is you had Cena do a monkey flip and a flying head scissors, and both of them looked very sloppy. Why are they letting Cena do moves like that, then letting him do high-flying moves when he's a power guy? Just because if you let him do moves like that, and the STF as well, it just comes across as very sloppy, that's all.
I guess with that, my backhand could be, maybe it's WWE's way or John Cena's way to say, I've got more than just 3 sets of moves to finish matches and do stuff. Even though the shot they put Ziggler through a table was just a quick sloppy thing, I just thought, don't really do much.
No, there's no surprise Ziggler no-sold that one. And the crowd were actually really into Dolph Ziggler here. They hated John Cena, they hated Ryback, but they were really into people like Ziggler, Daniel Bryan, The Shield. Ziggler was getting massive cheers here.
Well, I'm really glad for that. Yes, it could be a one-off place for this to happen to Ziggler, but it's still a positivity for Ziggler, especially when it came to the end of the match. But before we get to that, I do like how Ziggler's booked. For him to go for that much time with John Cena, yes, it started off slow as Ziggler's been a show-off and Cena was just taking it, but the fact he lasted this long and performed well against John Cena, managed to get out of about 3-4 actual adjustments. I've really enjoyed this.
The bottom line is, guys, you don't get wins against John Cena very often, so this win for Dolph Ziggler is a big one. I didn't think it made him a star or anything like that. I think if he beat him clean, I think you talk about the good booking, I think the thing that did it for me was the fact that they couldn't just make him win clean. They had to bring in AJ Lee, Vicky Guerrero, and do it that way. They had to do the AJ turning heel on Cena thing in order for Ziggler to get the win, which is a little bit annoying, but at least Ziggler gets a win in the main event of a pay-per-view. How many people in the YWC would have been wishing for that to happen before TLC came along? Now they've got it.
It was a really good way to finish the pay-per-view off. The question was, how is Ziggler going to beat John Cena? Because it would have been a shame if John Cena became Mr. Money in the Bank again. And the thing about this is that AJ's turn on Cena, yes, it may have put AJ with another wrestler, and I do think it was a way to finish. The attack on Vicky, that could follow up on Raw, which we'll have to tune into.
No sold the 5-knuckle shuffle.
That's another thing, but I do expect the AJ and Vicky thing to continue. But at the end of the day, Ziggler is still Mr. Money in the Bank. When's he going to cash in? Who knows? John Cena lost. Yes, he smiled at the end, but I'm happy how it finished.
Wasn't a great match by any means, but definitely a good main event. I'm not going to go and overrate it because Dolph Ziggler won and John Cena lost, but it was definitely a good main event, a good way to end the show, and nice to see someone else, a young talent like Ziggler ending the show on top. That's what I'll say about that, despite the AJ heel turn, etc. What were your other thoughts on this TLC show, Jen?
I'm really glad that it came up to be different to how I was expecting, especially in our predictions. A few surprises, no returns, but the match of the night, the Shield
TLC,
match,
yes.
that really stole it. Yes, it wasn't the main event, but with the result of the main event, I'm glad that was the main event. I'm just saying that this pay-per-view definitely went past my expectations.
And I think past expectations is the best way of explaining this pay-per-view. I think there were a couple of matches on here that were good. There was a really good match with that TLC match. Not match of the year by any means, that most people probably will say, but it was still a very good match on this card. Definitely a lot better than I expected. So that's what I say. If I was going to grade this, I'd give it like a B. I'd think a B. I think B plus is slightly overrating the show, and I think a lot of people in the YWC will overrate this show personally. But a B for me, a good solid belch, a good solid B belch. Yeah, that goes, doesn't it? So let us know your thoughts on TLC down in the comments section below, and I'll now hand you over to this very glitzy version of Hulk Hogan, NJ here.
Don't call me Hogan. Until next time, people, from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, hopefully you enjoyed the pay-per-view and our review. Share your comments in the comments section below. Until next time, YouTubers, goodbye.